Hey guys, so today our project is due over courage and impact, the people that inspire us. We've been working on this in No Red Ink. If you've been working on this in Google Docs up through now, you're going to need to jump in No Red Ink because we need to turn this project in 2 different ways today. I want you guys to use your class time today to be able to finish up anything you still need to finish up writing, making sure you're adding credit to all of your sources, giving credit to those websites and those people that said those quotes, as well as making sure that you guys are going back through everything and checking your rubric to make sure that you're going to get a good grade on what you're working on. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and jump in No Red Ink and go to our assignment. So for this particular writing assignment, you guys need to have 2 body paragraphs and 1 introduction. If you scroll down on this right-hand side, you're actually going to enter a title today. It's up to you for what to call your paper. You can name it after the person you're writing about courage, impact, inspiration, totally your call. You're also going to need to make sure that you have a solid introduction as well as 2 separate body paragraphs. Adding a conclusion is completely optional for this particular short writing piece and is not required. So what if you're not quite done writing yet? Well, if you look in your student work today, if you scroll down below this video, it says you need to make sure to have the title, intro, and 2 body paragraphs. If you're still stuck on your 2 body paragraphs, you want to jump on the student work module for 323. So go back in time to 323 for helpful information on how to write those body paragraphs and where you actually get that information from. That way you're not having a writer's block and you're not stuck. If you guys need help with giving credit to sources, maybe you were working in time.com or maybe you were researching Gandhi, for example, and you found a really cool entry on Britannica.com and you used, let's see, that he came to be considered the father of his country. Let's say that you use this quote right here. Just because somebody didn't say it, just because it's not in quotes, doesn't mean you're not supposed to give that credit. If you copied and pasted anything from a website, you need to make sure you're giving that credit. So what I would do to give this source credit after I copied and pasted that, I would go to, leave your website up, I would go to the student work module on 324 and look at the video or look at the document because that's going to explain exactly how to give credit to that source. Finally, if you need help writing an awesome introduction, I know a lot of you guys, like for introductions, you're just like, yep, do my quote or do my question and do my thesis and I'm done. Part of what you're getting graded on for this assignment is that you have kind of a bold introduction, that you're doing something that hooks me in. So if you want to see how to do a great introduction, all of that information is going to be on 325. Basically, that's going to be a mini lesson where I'm going over, you don't have to start with a quote or a question. You can start an introduction by setting a scene or painting like some details or even talking directly to the reader. So check that out if your introduction is still kind of like blah. Okay, the next thing I want you guys to do, so that is if you are still working on your actual writing. After you guys are finished with your writing, which is where most of you guys are at this point, I want you guys to check your spelling and your grammar. If you haven't already, go ahead and open up a new Google Doc. Take all of your stuff out of your No Red Ink. So basically just go to your No Red Ink, scroll down. You're going to select all the text in your introduction and in your body paragraphs, copy those and paste those into a Google Doc. I want you guys to be able to use your Google Doc to check your spelling and your grammar. And if you have the Grammarly add-on, if it wasn't working in No Red Ink, it's going to work in Google Docs. So it can help you kind of clean stuff up. So the next thing, let me go back over here. So this is assuming now, step 1 is to make sure all your writing's done. Step 2 is to check your spelling and grammar. Step 3 is to use your rubric to make sure you have everything. And it's what your teacher is actually looking for to give you a good grade. So I have a little bit of a picture here that says, once you are in No Red Ink, there's going to be this menu over to the left-hand side. You'll click on the tab that looks like a checklist. The 3rd tab is going to show your writing rubric. Each one of these little paragraphs is going to be a part of your rubric that I'm going to score you on, or your teacher is going to score you on between 1 and 5. 1's the lowest, 5 is the highest. What's cool is that it says, so for example, this step on the rubric says thesis statement introduces the central idea. So basically I'm just checking, does this student have a thesis statement in their introduction? And if you do, you're going to get 5 points. It gives you a little bit of an example or a little bit of an explanation of what it's looking for. So introduces the central idea, a strong central idea is thoughtful and it's interesting. And then you can actually click this thing that says view example, which is amazing. So let me do this in real time. So I'm over here in No Red Ink. I've got my menu. I'm gonna click on this rubric. And here's that thesis statement one. If I want to view an example, I'm just gonna click on that. It will pop up examples of good theses, and bad theses. So if yours looks a little bit like this one, you probably want to jump on and see if you can find a better way to word yours using their example. Thesis, though, you guys are pretty good at thesis statements now. So I'm going to scroll down and let's see what's going down here. Each piece of evidence is paraphrased or quoted correctly. For each piece of evidence, you need to choose if you're going to paraphrase it, as in like put something in your own words, or if you're using a direct quote. So for example, it'll tell you guys, like, it'll remind you guys with parentheses, it'll remind you guys of how to actually credit your sources here. So if you're like, shoot, I forgot to credit Wikipedia or nationalgeographic.com and this author, you're going to actually go in and check that out. So please, please, please today, I want you guys, this is your number one thing I want you to do, making sure you have all your stuff written. Go through each one of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 items to your rubric. That's actually pretty short. And I want you guys to make sure that you have each one of these. If you're not sure if you have one, go ahead and click on the view example and then use that to check. Once you guys are confident that what you have is done, it is finished, and you're happy, you guys can click submit writing. So there's 2 ways you're going to turn in your project. The first way is to turn it into Canvas. Again, to do that, you're going to need to come down here, click on your introduction, click on your body paragraphs, copy all of that text from your intro and your body paragraphs, and paste it into Canvas. So if I click, at the top, I'll click Submit Assignment. Down here, a text box is going to pop up. Paste all of your stuff in that text box. That's the first way. You must submit it. You also must submit it the second way in No Red Ink. Like I was just saying, up here at the top, click Submit Writing. I would recommend that you turn it in on Canvas before you turn it in on No Red Ink. I don't know if you can still access it after you turn it in on Canvas. And yes, it does need to be turned in both ways. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Happy writing and revising and editing, and knock it out of the park. This is our last day. Get it turned in by the end of class. It is due today. Bye for now.